Welcome to our next episode of
Fandom
Family
Chats.
This is a production of Family Fan Clubs on Facebook. You can find us all over Facebook. You can find us all over social media under Fandom Family Chats. Look us up, get dialed in, get plugged in, and get ready to listen to some crazy people talk crazy stuff.
Hey guys, welcome back to FFC. I'm Maureen.
and I'm Jeanette.
And we are back with another streaming episode. First, we want to tell you what's coming up for the rest of this year, or actually not for the rest of this year because it's 2024 now. I don't know if you're aware of that, but it is 2024 right now. Happy New Year. Glad you're with us. But what we have coming up for you next week is our final One Tree Hill review. Now, I know that we've been saying you're going to get season 7 and 8 together and 9 in review. Well, obviously, if you watched our last one, you've noticed that we had to change that because I scheduled us to have 1 week to watch 2 seasons, and that just was not going to work. So we are giving you season 8 and 9 review and an overall grade of that. Also coming up for you is a review of The Bear. And if you have not watched that, oh my gosh, what are you waiting for? It is so good. It's foul-mouthed, but it's so good. We also have a new show that is in our, I don't know, it's in our wheelhouse now, I guess. It's been brought into our fandom. So we'll be bringing that for you. Then we'll leave out a little surprise for later. And hopefully starting in January or February, we will have some premiere shows to bring you. Chicago, we're hoping will be back then. We're hoping Grey's Anatomy will be back then. Some of our other favorites. Now, some of our shows, we found out Cruel Summer was canceled, even though it's a summer show. That's been canceled, so we are not getting any more of that. Station 19 was canceled, so you will not be getting any more of that.
Well, now that one we will. It's canceled after this coming.
Oh,
season.
after the season. Okay.
Yes. So we still have. It's going to be a shortened season because of the strike, which kind of stinks. But hopefully, this will give it time to at least wrap up. I'm hoping nicely.
Yes.
So
yeah. But we do have Will Trent is coming back. We have all the Chicagos are coming back, although we are a little nervous about
there's a lot of cast members leaving.
Yeah, so we're a little nervous about the future of that show, but that is coming back. They have started filming already on that, and I think at least our old and tried and true favorites have remained. Some of the newcomers are ducking out. So all that stuff, hopefully that's coming up for you January, February. We'll let you know accordingly as our schedule changes, as we get premiere dates set out. We'll make big deals about it. So that's coming for you. Today, we are talking about, now Amazon Prime is not our usual subject for streaming shows, especially since this episode we're talking about today, you do have to pay for. You can rent it or buy it. Still affordable.
Worth it.
It is. It actually, we got into it because Drew Starkey is in this show, and he is on OBX, Outer Banks, which is a show that we cover. So, unavoidable. We are talking The Other Zoey today. Again, that's on Amazon Prime. Run to go rent this or watch it.
So good.
Super clean, super family friendly. I don't know if it's super clean, but it's very family friendly.
Well, it's very family friendly.
Yeah,
for sure.
So the synopsis is, and actually this was, Jeanette, I'm going to let you read the synopsis because Jeanette is the one who made us all watch it.
Yes. I was the one who started this and said, we must watch just because of Drew Starkey. He's wonderful. Okay, synopsis. Zoey Miller, a super smart college student who is uninterested in romantic love, has her life turned upside down when Zach, the captain of the boys' soccer team, gets amnesia and mistakes Zoey for his girlfriend. In an attempt to get closer to Zach's cousin Miles, a grad student who shares similar intellectual interests to Zoey, she joins his family on a ski trip for the weekend pretending to be Zach's girlfriend. Caught in between the two men while maintaining the girlfriend facade, her determination to look for compatibility as opposed to romantic love begins to falter.
Mm-hmm.
Really good.
Love a good Christmas amnesia movie. And that's the other thing. It's not overtly Christmas.
It is very while you were sleeping, to show my age. Like, as I'm watching it, I'm like, I'm pretty sure I've seen this whole plot before. But I mean,
there's a twist to it.
Yeah, not exactly the same, but definitely a similarity for sure, like in the way that it worked out. So
yes. And in fact, like when you guys said that, it was in my head as I was watching it, and I found myself going, no, that's not how it goes.
No,
I mean, how this story goes. But it's because it's not the same exact story.
It's not. But it's very like, I mean, I don't know. It felt very, I would even say it felt very 90s rom-com, and just the way that it's like put together like that. So it was really good. I was going to watch it either way because you know I'm obsessed with Drew Starkey. But I was pleasantly surprised. So,
and I think
even the lead actress, Josephine Langford, is that her name? She's from the After series. So a lot of people I don't think you've seen it. I don't
No.
think that's not your bag, Maureen, so don't watch them. I'm actually not a fan. I've watched the first 2 movies. There's lots of them, but they're really popular and they're based off a book series, so probably a lot of people
Okay.
would know her from that. So
She did look familiar to me, but I couldn't figure out why. I think she just reminds me of somebody else because I was
Well,
looking at her profile and I don't know that I've seen her in anything
her
else.
sister is was in, did you see 13 Reasons Why? Did you watch
No.
that at all? Oh, okay. I was gonna say her sister was the lead in that. So yeah.
Okay, so characters in it, there's obviously 2 Zoes, in case you have not caught on to that plot twist. There's 2 Zoes. One of them is played by Josephine Langford. The other is Zoe Wallace, played by Maggie Thurman, who she is not.
She's not my preferred Zoe. No.
She kind of reminds me of my daughter and I, my oldest daughter and I just watched She's the Man.
That's yes. Yes, she reminded me of her. I thought the same thing as I was watching. It's a great movie.
But that actress, like at first, because I watched She's the Man when it was new-ish. And then I haven't watched it very much throughout the years, but then I started watching This Is Us, and then I know Virgin River, and I went back to watch She's the Man recently. Like, oh, that is the same girl. Holy cow. She's significantly more likable in other roles.
Absolutely. Yes.
But that's what she was, just snotty and she was bratty. Not the She's the Man one. This Zoe Wallace. She was snotty and bratty. And I'm sorry, if my parents take me to a vacation in Mexico, I'm not gonna sit there and complain and yell at them for daring to take me on a vacation to a sunny Caribbean climate.
Now, look, I do understand her worry about losing Zach McLaren, because if I had Zach, I would be worried about losing him as well. But yeah, she was definitely bratty.
Speaking of Zach McLaren, that's Drew Starkey, who is Rafe in Outer Banks, in case you were curious when we said Outer Banks.
He is nothing like Rafe in this movie. Like, he is so different. Even my daughter, who really worries about my mental health every time we talk about like how much I like Rafe.
Rafe just needs someone to love him and care for him enough to get him therapy.
Exactly. But she was like, okay, he's kind of cute. And I was like, yeah, you just have to see him in a non-murderous role and he's gonna be appealing.
Even though that's something that just came out of your mouth, I would like to point out to everyone listening that Jeanette did not need him outside of a non-murderous role to fall in love with him. Just the normal person does.
It's not the first time that this has happened, so it's okay.
Miles McLaren is also in this. He plays Zach's cousin, who is the grad student. He is played by Archie Renault, and I hated that guy.
I do too. I
liked him at first, but I was like, ooh.
I remember when I first saw like even anything, I was like, if she chooses anyone but Drew Starkey, like this whole movie is gonna suck and it's gonna be terrible. And then after we got to know Miles, I'm like, ew, like, I mean, why? I don't know. He wasn't appealing to me in any way. But he was very compatible to Zoe.
Exactly.
Where what she, in her mindset, is how you're supposed to find your one true love, is based off compatibility, not romantic feelings. So
yes,
it made sense to her. But
with her roommate, her roommate is Elle. Is it Elle or Ellie? I couldn't remember. It's Elle, right?
I think it's Elle. Yeah.
That's played by Mallory Johnson. She's really into like the romantic movies. She's a writer. She's a poet. So she's very in touch with her emotions and she can express herself beautifully. Wasn't she showing her while you were sleeping? Wasn't that one of the movies that she showed her?
Oh, she might have. I can't remember. I just rewatched it, but possibly. I know that, what was it? Oh, it was, they were watching, oh my gosh, what's it called? The Hugh Grant, Julia Roberts.
Love Actually? Oh, no, they were watching Notting Hill.
Notting Hill, yeah. It was so funny because I was rewatching it and I made Elena watch with me, and that comes on. She's like, oh, I've heard this sound, I guess probably from TikTok, and she was laughing at me because I started quoting the whole like,
I did too.
Standing in front of a boy, asking him to love her. Like, that's a classic. That's a classic.
Also, very toxic relationship in that movie.
Well, yeah, aren't they all?
The other person who we want to mention is Connie McLaren, plays his mom, and she is by Andie MacDowell. Now, there's another show I just remembered while I was watching this. There's another show that we were watching that we haven't reported on or done anything with that Andie MacDowell was in. Did that one get renewed?
It has, and it's coming back soon. We're
really?
talking about The Way Home. That show is fantastic. Side note, obviously, but like, go check that out.
That's what
Absolutely fantastic
we need
show.
to discuss that one too on our podcast.
We
Now,
do. We do. That I would love to discuss that one again.
is
'Cause
that one on
was
Prime or
fun.
Paramount Plus though?
No, because it was actually on Hallmark, but Hallmark is tied to Prime, I think. Because we
Prime
were
or
able to
Netflix?
watch it
'Cause
streaming on one of the platforms, but it's a Hallmark original show, but it's tied to one of the platforms like that you could stream it on. I cannot remember which one that we watched.
we'll
it
look
on.
into that for you and let you know when we report on it. But I was excited to see her in a lot of things because this is like the third or fourth thing I've seen her in this year. And I love Annie McDowell. I think she's fantastic.
I love her too. Yeah.
And then Matt McLaren is played by Patrick Fabian, and he was one who.
Do you remember what he's from?
I'm trying to think because I can picture him saying lines.
I'm gonna tell you. Okay, so do you remember watching? I know you had to watch this. Saved by the Bell, the college years.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
Their
that's probably
professor.
really loud. Sorry. Yep. That's who it is.
Yes. It was like, wow, to see him with white hair was really strange. But I'm like, I was crushing on him way back when he was on Saved by the Bell, the college years. So I was like excited to see him in this role. But that's all I know him from. I'm sure there's other things, but
I feel like I can see him delivering his lines. He used to have yellow hair, right? Like blonde, yellow hair.
like kind of like longer, like
Longer.
Yeah, I feel like when he was like professor or whatever, I think like his hair was longer, wasn't it?
No.
Are you sure?
No. See, when you
Remember he
said long, I
did-
thought you meant like shoulder length.
No, I mean just like, he was so cute too.
Cloud 9. That's the other thing I know him from.
Mm.
The other person who was on here, we were just talking about this when we did our holiday review. If you haven't seen that, we released that on December 24th. We reviewed 2 streaming Christmas movies with one of them had Heather Graham in it. And Amanda and I were saying, I wish we saw Heather Graham in more stuff. And then right after we did the review, I saw this. Hey, there's Heather Graham. She plays Paula, Zoe Miller's mom.
The fact that Heather Graham plays a mother, though,
no, not just a mother, but a mother of a college student,
makes me feel incredibly old because Heather Graham is not that much older than we are.
No.
Like, not much at all.
I will say though, she looks significantly better than I do.
Well, yeah, I mean, not you, me, obviously. I'm not going to say she looks better than you because that's mean. So, but yeah, no, she looks good for sure.
And she was way more natural in this than she was in The Best Christmas Ever. Like, this is a much better role for her, I think.
That was just an awful movie. I know I wasn't on that recording, but that was terrible. 2 thumbs down.
This is so bad. It's funny that when we have been reviewing these, if you've been keeping up with us over December, we've been reviewing streaming shows. And I feel like everyone we do too, there's always one that we hated, which it didn't used to be like that. But I suppose now with the strikes, we've been forced to watch more movies and more TV shows that we're trying to just fill gaps with.
Yeah. Yeah. Which we've decided going forward, one of us is going to pre-watch a show and make sure it's at least a C-worthy show before we even force ourselves to go through it.
I think we have to watch some that are really bad, give an honest review of them so other people don't have to suffer through them.
Well, I think then that one person only has to suffer and they can just tell everybody, look, guys, it's not worth your time.
I like company with my misery. Thank you.
We can just alternate who has to watch the terrible ones as we go along.
Oh, you didn't watch Old Dads either. It was just me and Eve. Amanda did it too. That was awful.
There was no reason to. Not after you all talked about it.
Well, there's also Avery McLaren, who plays Zach's sister, who was played by Olive Abercrombie. I loved her. I thought she was great.
Character. Yes.
And then Diego's the last. I mean, there's a lot of other characters, but these are the mains. Diego is played by Jorge Lopez. And
Diego is cute.
That was a weird,
it was, but his introduction, it was strange, but I feel like it was a fun contrast between Zoe and her romantic life and the way that Elle looks at her romantic endeavor. So it was a fun comparison to see that. So
I agree. And I did think there was one moment I remember putting in the chat going, oh, this is awkward. And it's so awkward that it's hard to watch. And I was literally looking every other place I could but the TV. And you guys thought I meant because there were sex scenes, but there isn't.
Yeah. I was really confused because I was like, wait, I don't remember this. What did I miss? Do I need to go back and watch again?
Let me rewind this.
Did I not get the unrated version or something? I'll buy it again. No, but
it was just because it's and I know that you didn't get this reference, but I know Amanda did. There's an episode of The Office where it's called Scott's Tots, and Michael Scott promises when because he feels bad for all these kids and his youth was horrible. So he promised to pay for the college tuition of this entire class. And there's like 22 kids. And so it was their senior year of high school. And they're all the whole time from second grade on, like, Michael Scott's going to pay for our college tuition. He's such a great man. So they had like Michael Scott Day every year.
Yeah.
And because they celebrated him every year, he was like, well, I can't tell him because they're celebrating me. It feels so good. So their senior year, instead of getting them their tuition, he brought them laptop lithium batteries.
Oh. Whoops.
It's so hard to watch that review come out because you know that these kids are about to they haven't even applied for a lot of things because they thought they had a full ride. It was just that's what this review felt like to me. I was like, oh my goodness.
Yeah. It was yeah.
But it's because I was so invested in them and because you watch them both grow. And I'm sorry, I almost called him Drew Starkey. Zach McLaren
yes,
is such a good guy in this. He's
so
such
precious.
A good guy.
Like he's got like that whole like golden retriever energy in this movie. Like he is just the cutest. I mean, just when he was like his little things like, hey baby, and like it's weird because I'm like, okay, this is rape. And like how is he like talking to her? It was really hard to separate because I think I've only seen him as Rafe, and then I watched him in the new Hellraiser that's on Hulu or whatever.
For our viewers, again, I would like to clarify, she first saw him as Rafe and then went down an IMDb rabbit hole trying to watch all of his movies.
I blame TikTok though, because TikTok made all these like thirst trap edits with Rafe, which then turned me into liking
I don't think you can blame TikTok because you did that you did that with Dylan O'Brien, and that was not because you saw him on TikTok.
But Dylan O'Brien, I was in love with him because of Styles, and that was a justified like love because Styles is wonderful. I can't say the same about Rafe, but here we are.
Needs therapy.
Yeah,
that's it.
The love of someone.
You can fix him, Jeanette.
I could fix him. I swear to you, I could. No, probably not.
But there's a scene in there where she said, "I think I'm going to spend the day with Zach," and he was like, "Oh, you are?" Like,
I know.
I just want to pinch your cheeks.
He's so freaking cute. And like, I don't just everything about like, okay, so now I can take and like, I no longer need Rafe Cameron. I can just say like, I just
thank
want
God
Claren because he is so adorable in this movie.
And he's witty and he's funny. And even when he went into the bookstore before they had their mistaken identity, and she was looking at the two, what was the game that they were playing? Battletoads. Yes, that's right. And it was Battletoads for Dummies and Idiot's Guide to Battletoads. And he was like, so are you calling me an idiot?
Yeah.
She said no, but I don't remember what his comeback was, but I remember thinking, oh, he's not an idiot. No. So he was like, he didn't let it affect him. He's not one of those, because I'm in the middle of a One Tree Hill binge that I'm being forced to go through. I was forced at first. I enjoy it now in the back half. Yes. But all those sports guys are in the 90s or that was not 90s, early 2000s. They're all jerks. It's nice that they made him. He's a jock. He's very good at soccer. He's good at what he does. He's got a good physique. No comment from you needed on that. And he wasn't a jerk. He let the stuff roll off his back. He was being kind to her. It was not like he was being a jerk to her in any way. It was just, she was actually being awful to him.
Yep. Yeah.
And he called her on it. And then he was still like, have a nice day.
Yeah, he was a good guy. Like, and I mean, he was being typecast by her just because he was the star soccer player.
Yeah.
And then he surprised her, and I think that was like that's probably one of my favorite things about the movie. I love when those like rom-coms when you have, they obviously think they're one thing, and then we see it evolve, and we find out there's a whole lot more depth behind them, and I think that's what we end up seeing in this movie. So, and
it's nice to see him with his sister too.
That was probably one of my favorite parts. I mean, like the Battletoads, he'd play with Avery. And so, I mean, I think that's just really, there's nothing cuter than like some guy like being really sweet, like his little sister. I don't know why that's like a trope that really gets me, but it is.
Because that's how it's the same thing of how you know a guy is good is by how he treats his mother. Like it's the same sort of thing.
Yeah.
And there was a scene that I really liked where she was playing Battletoads and he was on the couch with the women's sunglasses on next to her reading a book.
And he was really into the book.
Yes.
Like, and not like just faking, not just being like just trying to pass the time, but when he starts and he even tells her, like, I could see you as one of these women. And I think that took her by surprise. Like, wow, oh, okay.
And it's nice to see a role where it's not the women who are being typecast by a dude, because it's not the only way it happens. Women do it to men all the time too.
Yeah.
And it's nice to see that she was absolutely wrong about him. And you can't say he's bad just because of that. So I thought that was a nice spin, a nice little twist to that. And of course, Miles turned out to be, so, okay, we went over do you have any other likes you want to talk about?
No, I mean, I like all of it. I want to say one of my favorite things, because I said like Avery was like my favorite character, his little sister. One of my favorite things is when the reveal happens and we meet the other Zoey and we find out what's going on or whatever. And she's like, but wait, come back. I like you better. I remember just laughing. I'm thinking we're all thinking the same thing. Yeah, we like you better. Like, I don't know. Avery was just the star of the show, I think. I loved
Yes. That scene too was very much Monique from She's the Man, where she came barreling out of the car. Zach McLaren.
I'm telling you, like, this movie is definitely a throwback to like 90s, early 2000s type rom-coms. Like,
but it's updated and elevated enough that newer kids who are now in their early 20s, late teens are gonna like it. Even younger than that, I think. I would watch this with my 13-year-old, I think.
Yeah, Elena, like I said, we watched it and I think she enjoyed it. So yeah.
And there wasn't any sex in there, which I fully appreciate. There wasn't even any nudity, which I fully appreciate. I mean, there's a scene, and even when she's in the hot tub, she's wearing a one piece, so it's not even she's not even wearing a bikini.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's
even when they kiss, it's not like some full on makeout session where you get nervous, like, oh my god, I need to cover any eyes or anything. No, it's completely like, I mean, it's clean. Like, I would probably I would even let Shelby watch it. I think I would. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. There's not even that much language, is there?
No.
Yeah, it's
there's
nice, clean, wholesome.
I think that's where a lot of these newer comedies and these newer rom-coms have fallen short, is gratuitous language just for the sake of gratuitous language. And I hate that. That's cheap and it's gross and it's just,
I agree.
I'm instantly turned off by those movies and I won't ever watch them again because I don't need to hear that to enjoy people. I'm not around people who speak like that every day or ever. So I don't need people to be vulgar just to relate to them.
And even like, I mean, I do speak like that. You know what I'm saying? But like, I still
you're not gratuitous for you don't
not for the sake of
canon.
I mean, I have a potty mouth though. Okay, I do, but I appreciate being able to like turn on a movie and not have to worry if my kids are going to come into the room or not. Like on a Saturday afternoon, if they want to come into the living room, I don't want to have to pause my movie because it's not appropriate for them. So this is nice that this is completely appropriate for all ages.
You know what I just realized is that when we were talking about Old Dads and the Bat Mitzvah movie, you had said on there, guys, movies aren't my thing. I think that's an inaccurate statement. I think movies are your thing when people like Dylan O'Brien or Drew Starkey or your favorites are.
You know what? Like,
you got us all to watch this movie.
Horror films and rom-coms are my thing. Which I know are two opposite ends of like the spectrum.
Which explains your love of Rafe.
Yes, I think
it's like a horror movie and a rom-com in one. That's his character.
Anyone who knows me, I feel like that explains me to a T as far as like how I can also love Rafe Cameron, but then I will argue with you that Jeremiah Fisher is the better guy because Conrad is just too terrible, but yet Rafe isn't. I know that I'm complicated and I get this. I get it. Okay.
Wait, hold on. We're going to back that up. Are you comparing Conrad's terribleness to Rafe's terribleness?
That's what I'm saying. I messed up in the head. I understand that I cannot tolerate Conrad, but I would tolerate Rafe. And I understand that that's messed up.
As long as you know.
I get that. Okay. I do. This is what I'm saying. This is why I'm complicated like that.
Team Conrad for life. I'm so proud of you that you did not rise to that bait. Good job.
I'm not going to. I need you to watch our new show because I'm curious. Like now I need to know. I wonder what team you'll be on. I know what team you'll be on, actually. I already know.
No. I don't want you to tell me because I don't want to be
I'm
swayed
not
by
going to tell you, but I know.
So all right, we talked about likes. What about dislikes? Do you have any?
None.
Okay, my dislikes are dislikes that are supposed to be dislikes. Like I don't like Zoe Wallace. I think Miles is a jerk. I hate that. I don't hate him, but I really don't like that guy. I think he's gross and he's awful. And okay, I do have a complaint. I don't know how realistic it was for that, how they all came up with the live streaming for that party, how they all came up with the idea like that. And again, I might be off. That might be very realistic. I don't know. But to me, it didn't feel very realistic how that all came about, how that happened. It felt like, well, this is worse. This is just a way to get it in there.
To technology stuff, I can't really speak to that because I'm ignorant on whether that stuff is actually possible or not. So I don't actually know.
I will also say that in the beginning of this movie, because it starts in the classroom, right? Am I wrong? That's where it starts, and that one
Yes.
girl is giving her speech about what Valentine's Day is.
It's completely inaccurate. Yeah.
I was yelling at my TV, how are you letting her give this report? This is all wrong. There's
Yeah,
not a shred of truth to this, what she's saying. And they let her give the whole speech. And that was maddening to me. I hated that.
I agree. Oh, you know what? That might have been a dislike. That irritated me that's how we started out the movie, because I felt like that was really kind of dumb. But
At least say this is what I view Valentine's Day as, but don't display it as if it's a piece of scholarly searching.
I'm not a history buff by any means. I actually hate history. It's my least favorite subject that I ever had to go through. But
I minored in that in college. I love history.
I hate it. But I knew that was inaccurate. Yeah. So,
and I do, but again, that was a vehicle, and even that would seem like a vehicle for Zoey to stand up and say, "You're wrong." I did laugh really hard when she was like, "That's why I created this app."
Yeah.
That's not your marketing pitch, babe. You gotta find a different route. That's not gonna work for you.
Yeah, that wasn't your market there. Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know, dislike. I honestly think it could have, I loved it so much. Like my dislike is that it could have been longer. Like we could have had more romantic scenes between, and I don't mean sex or anything, even though wouldn't be post, but like that's not what I'm talking about. But like there wasn't very much
building in their romantic relationship.
There wasn't a whole lot of romantic tension. There was a lot of flirtation, which was cute,
and getting to know each other.
I would have loved some of the more like, I don't know, the slow burn moments that kind of build that tension. But it was only an hour and a half long, so I think they did what they could. So it was
and it definitely could have been. I agree with that. I would agree with that. And that's not even really like if that's like the complaint we have about it, that's the complaint you want people to have about it. Exactly. I wish there was more.
Yeah.
And I think that also showed a really good light on. I have to stop calling him Drew Starkey. Every time I say his name, I got to look at the outline to figure out what his character's name is.
Yeah.
I think it showed a level to Zach's character that we wouldn't have otherwise gotten, that all they did was get to know each other and talk to each other and really have meaningful conversation. It wasn't all about physical. It wasn't all about emotions, because emotions are temporary. They're fleeting. Yeah. They're based on your circumstances. And that's not what this was on. And he still chose her. And that shows a depth of character to him that I don't think we would have otherwise gotten. So that was a benefit. But I agree. I wish there was a little bit more of the slow burn. I did like all the moments. I know I'm going back to a like, but I'm all done with dislike. So I got to go back up to a like. When every time Avery would say, "So how did you meet? So how did this happen? So how did this happen?" And Zoey would give an answer. And she's like, "Oh,
that's funny.
I thought it was this. I thought Zach said this."
See, that's what I'm saying. Avery was trying this. She's my favorite character. She was trying to figure this out the whole time.
Yes.
Yeah.
So for me, okay, what is your grade? What would you give it?
I think an A+, because I have no complaints. I don't. There was nothing wrong with it at all.
Okay, so Amanda has given it an A rating. She was supposed to be on here today, but she had something come up, so she wanted to make sure we gave her rating. She got an A rating. This gets an A+ for me, and I want to tell you my rating scale. My rating scale goes on whether or not I'll watch it again, whether or not I can watch it with my kids, and if it's clean.
Yep,
that's my scale. This I will absolutely watch this again. You've already watched it more than once. I can watch it with my entire family, and it was clean. I can't. I'm sure there were like little swears. I don't think I heard the F word at all. I don't think there was even any. I don't even remember hearing a swear word. I'm just assuming that there was one or two placed in there, but I don't even remember hearing one.
I don't remember hearing one either.
And there was no. And I prefer my movies to be very clean. Like I don't like language. I don't like sex scenes. And this didn't have sex scenes. This didn't have language. So I mean, there is literally nothing I can give a downgrade for. So it gets an A+ for me. And again, this is on Prime, so it is money, but I don't even think it's that expensive.
I feel like I probably
should have looked it up.
It was not more than $9.99. Like I really don't.
You bought it, right? Because I think I just rented it.
Yeah, because I was like, I'm gonna watch this again. There's no reason to not buy this. I think it was very reasonable.
Oh yeah, it's $4 to rent. So on Amazon, you can rent The Other Zoey for $3.99, or you can buy it for $14.99. And honestly, I mean, that's not a bad price for a movie.
And it is, trust us, it is actually one you will probably watch more than
once.
If this is your sort of movie, you're gonna watch it.
It's wholehearted. It's sweet. Of course, you can do this SD version. You can buy that for $12.99 if you don't want HD. But I don't see the point in that.
I might have done that because I felt like this movie, there was no need. There was no HD needed. There's no like
Yeah.
action scenes to where we need to like have high definition. So that may have been where mine was cheaper.
Yeah.
I probably bought Misty.
So we highly, highly, highly recommend go seeing it and supporting these actors. I think that they're all very good at what they do. I think even Avery, the little girl who played Avery, I mean, I think they all play their parts really well. Miles was stiff, but he was supposed to be stiff because he was like this emotionless robot from MIT. So
yeah, Miles was definitely like, even though I didn't know him, I remember seeing a lot of other audience like on TikToks and things. They knew him, and so he was from. He played Malin on or Malian. I don't know how to pronounce this. He was in Shadow and Bone. Okay, it's not a show I've seen, but I think it's a pretty popular show.
I've never seen it, but I've heard of it.
Has probably seen that and knows him from that. So he was. Lots of people were excited.
Good cast, good acting, great acting, and I thought it was like we said, it reminded us of another show, but it was an original script. It happened differently, more organically than the other one did, and there was a twist to While You Were Sleeping that was in this that was made it different, standalone. So there is that. And though this is on Prime, we don't have a Prime group, but we do have a Netflix group. So join us on our Netflix Facebook group. It's Netflix Family Fan Club. We'd love to have you over there. Let us know what you think about this. If you've watched it, if there's any other Drew Starkey things we need to be watching, or Josephine Langford, or anybody in this cast. And remember to watch out for our streaming shows that are coming. We're going to be talking The Bear. We're going to be talking Suits. And I think we're going to be talking The Way Home soon as well, because we forgot about that one. I don't know how we forgot about that one. We are like obsessively watching that one.
Because
it's been a while.
We obsess and then we move on to a new obsession. And so if we don't tackle that obsession right when we're doing it, we forget.
And it like we did binge it. So because I don't feel like there was that many episodes. And it took a while. There was a while we finished it, and then we had to fill the gap with something.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think we filled the gap with Suits and The Bear.
I think we did. Yeah.
So those are all coming at you. Watch for those. Let us know if there's something you want to hear. Let us know what shows you're excited to come back, because I certainly know that I have missed my Chicagoland people. And my husband every day is like, when is The Bear coming back? When is it coming back? So we have missed these shows. We're excited they're coming back. Let us know what you're excited about, and stay tuned for what we got coming at you. Happy New Year, and we'll see you real soon. Bye, guys.
Bye. Loving our content? Subscribe to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to share our podcast with your family and friends. We want to continue the conversation with you. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, or TikTok under Fandom Family Chats, or one of our ever-growing Facebook groups by searching Family Fan Club. We've also launched a website, Family Fan Club 2021 at Wixsite.com. You can email us there and keep checking it for announcements and merch coming soon. And of course, be sure to tune in every week for new episodes discussing all your favorite shows.